Hi, my name is Elvin Ainsworth. Thank you again for tuning in on APTV. We got Mark Pomeroy from Pomeroy Pacific. Pomeroy Pacific is a Melbourne-based company, over 50 years old. Mark's been with them for close to 20. They are project managers, developers, and capital advisories. We thought it'd be great to get Mark's perspective of what he's doing and planning for both themselves and their customers for what they're building for tomorrow when, in these uncertain times. Mark, thank you very, very much.
Great to be here, mate. Had I known, I wouldn't have put on the shirt today. I should have gone t-shirts with you.
Yeah, so there's a We Heart Retail t-shirt in the mail to you. We just didn't get there on time.
Can't wait. I like the black. It's good.
Okay, so Mark, Pomeroy Pacific is project managing High Point Shopping Center for GPT. What are you guys doing differently now to plan for the center into the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, thank you. Look, we are managing parts of High Point and a number of shopping centre assets actually around Melbourne, and we're seeing a very consistent theme at the moment. And the theme is to try and reposition and repivot these centres with more of an experiential type outcome. We've seen it with Chadstone, with the focus of creating a lot greater food and beverage opportunities, much better environment for children activities. And so that's exactly what we're doing in a number of these centres. In High Point, there's some amazing works being undertaken as we speak. And it is about recognising that the future of retail must be more than retail itself, and that retail expands beyond your typical bricks and mortar shops. So that's been the focus. And I think we're just going to continue to see this trend. And obviously it starts in the big stuff, and over time, even the smaller type centres, I really do believe that everyone's going to be putting a focus on that.
In these uncertain times, in your opinion, what is the most certain asset class to invest in right now?
Okay. When I think of, I guess, certainty in development, we all know that that's always, doesn't really exist. But I look at value. Where do I see value around assets? Because if you could buy something with a 15-year term, there's a great certainty if it's backed by Coles or Woolies. But is that, for me as a developer, where I'm looking for? We have a very simple model. We always focus on quality locations. Tenants will, if you can structure the deals appropriately, if you've got good property, good locations, I think that is, the assets look after themselves. So whether it is office, whether it is retail, whether it is industrial, it's all very simple, but location, 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 and it doesn't need to be South Yarra, Toorak, Armidale. Every suburb has A-grade locations. The ability is to understand it, identify it, and understand who your end user might be when making that determination.
Let's pretend for 1 second that you have $5 million. What would you be doing with that money today?
Look, I'm actually pretty bullish on residential coming back into the market quite strongly. So I still think there's quite a number of opportunities for sites that have got existing income that might have a 3 to 4 year WALE remaining, but has a development potential. I'm a bit more nervous buying sites at the moment that don't have the income, but has an immediate development potential, because I'm just not clear when that market's going to turn. But I'd be buying a few assets that have got some stable income that can wipe its own nose in respect to interest payments, and that I know in 3-4 years will be ripe for residential development.
And retail shops, like strip shops?
I strongly believe that next year, by June next year, we are going to see a resurgence in the market. So I think if there were opportunities to buy some of those shops now with an element of distress, they would be something I'd be certainly looking at, because the tenants will come back. And unfortunately, as one tenant fails, there'll be a new tenant who's got a belief, got a vision, and will set themselves up for a future business. So I think it's going to come back. We're not going backwards as a society. Immigration's going to come back, and the world as we know it is only going to boom, and we're going to reflect on this. And like happens so often, many developers or investors are going to probably say, why didn't I buy back then?
We're in that time now.
Correct, right in the heart of it.
Any advice to developers who are planning to deliver retail, whether in a mixed-use project or freestanding? What are some of the highlights that you look for when project managing or looking at these sites?
I think this really feeds into that last question, which is to really recognize that there are still a lot of tenants who know tomorrow is going to be okay, and they are happy to make decisions for tomorrow. They're not stuck in the mud thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to survive. And it's about making sure that you can stay the course, that you recognize that it might be tough for another 6 to 12 months, but get a deal, be practical at the moment, and set yourself and structure yourself to be able to share in the upside that's, I think, most certainly going to occur by halfway through next year.
Great. Mark, thank you very much for sharing your insight as to what to expect based on the decades of experience both Pomeroy Pacific and you personally have. We really do appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, mate.